We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung tín đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh, tình duyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mộng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đắc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage of Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sadanto Suchedo Ye Alahudi Samyang Sanputo Xie. Nam mô Tát Tát Tha Toya Daya Alahade Tam Miêu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai jian万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持愿解，如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位持家人、各位善知识、弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Today is the 2nd of December 2022. Thank you all for coming and joining us on this discussion of the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are on door number 2. It's on slide 159. Let's get right into it. The Yoga 25 and setting forth 20 are largely similar to this discussion. The remaining meanings will be explained upon reaching the 12 divisions.
瑜伽25显扬20大同此说语义至12分钟当明。
Okay, 160 commentary. So this text, in this text, Master Jingliang says we are towards the end of this discussion of this door number 2, which is the store and the teachings containing it. Basically, we've been discussing the first store, the sutra store, which has the sermons, all the sermons of the sutra of the Buddha spoke. And so here the yoga, meaning the shastra in chapter 25 of the Avatamsaka Sutra, the setting forth in chapter 20 in Shaili Teaching Shastra, part 20, They both use the word sutra, so the great master is discussing why sutra is being used. And the remaining meaning, the rest of principles, will be explained upon reaching the 12 divisions. So later in the discussion in the Avatamsaka Sutra itself, it will be clearer about why this word sutra was being used. Right? Thank you. All right, so 162. Text. The second Vinaya store, first the name and afterward the characteristics.
第二，皮乃耶藏，出名后主。
Okay, 162, commentary. The next store, the three stores in the Tripitaka, the first store is Sutra store. That's what most monks and nuns or Dharma master lecture on, because it is very important in our Buddhist teaching. And the Buddha used the Sutra store in order to teach us about the principles, in particular, in order to help us develop our samadhis. Because the sutra is a study of the samadhis. By studying the sutras, we get more information about the samadhis as well as to how to develop these various samadhis in Mahayana. In Mahayana, there are millions of different types of samadhis, as explained or alluded to in the various sutras that the Buddha explained. Okay, and by studying these sutras, again, you'll be able to recognize the samadhis, or if you are luckier, you will be able to figure out how to develop these samadhis. For example, in Mahayana, in our world, one of the Bibles of the samadhi studies is a sutra called the Shrangama Sutra. In that sutra, the Buddha explained in great details about that particular samadhi, the Shrangama Samadhi, which is the topmost samadhi in Buddhism, supposedly supreme samadhi in Buddhism. With that samadhi, you can be undefeated, you are invincible. And this is why this Shrangama Sutra is critical to the Buddhist propagation. In fact, monks and nuns are supposed to memorize the Shrangama mantra. The Shrangama Sutra it was explained in order to introduce and teach them about, teach us about the Shrangama mantra. And this Shrangama mantra here is the most powerful mantra in the universe, because with this mantra here, you can defeat all the demons' armies. The universe here exists as long as we can tame and keep the demons under control. Without the means to keep them under control, the demons will go wild, go crazy, and they will destroy our world, including themselves. That's how stupid demons are. And that's the nature of demons. They're so stupid that they enjoy destroying others without realizing in destroying others, they're also destroying themselves. Okay? And this is the Buddhist wisdom, if you will, they don't talk about. Because I don't know why the Asians they tiptoe around the demons and so forth. The demons are very, very stupid. They're so smart in that they can figure out how to destroy us. We are drugs, we are all sorts of things that came up in our world to destroy us, okay, and prevent us from cultivating and get confused and more confused and get sicker. The more confused you get, the sicker you become. Did you know that? Your sickness is from your confusion. And so sicknesses are the various means that the demons use in order to destroy us, destroy our world. And what is so interesting about them is that they're so good that they end up destroying us all, including themselves. So that's the ultimate stupidity. Okay, the demons are so good, they can destroy anything, including themselves, ultimately, in our world. And so the Buddha realizes that. So in this universe here is always a constant struggle between good and evil. Evil is represented by demons, are created by demons, and good is Buddha and us, his disciples. And so the Buddha understands that. That's why he taught us, his disciples, the Buddhist disciples, in particular the Sangha, who is responsible for guiding and developing the Buddhist disciples and training them so that they can help keep the demons in check. As long as there is interest in you studying Buddhism, like you're coming here tonight, coming to the temple or getting online to participate in the study of Buddhism and these Mahayana principles, that's how you are helping keeping the demons in check. Okay? For example, there's a big difference between Hinayana and Mahayana. The Hinayana practitioners are outmatched by the demons. The demon is so powerful, they will dance circles around the Hinayana practitioners, all of them. None of them can handle the demons. Case in point. For example, demons are in charge of your depression, your manic. Okay? And look, when you have depressed people and manic people, the Hinayana people can really not do anything at all. Hinayana people really struggle with severe illnesses. Okay? And so you see, and that's to tell you that the practice of the Hinayana practitioners fall short of being able to handle the demons, okay? Because they don't have enough tools to control the demons. The pure Hinayana people, they don't have enough tools. One of the tools we have is the Srangama mantra. Okay, so that's why in Mahayana we put a lot of emphasis on this particular sutra called the Srangama Sutra, where we learn about the Srangama mantra and other sutras as well, and they're critical in our helping you develop these samadhis that will give you the wisdom and the strength to keep the demons in check. It's not talking. If the demons come and you don't have enough strength, how are you going to defend your temple? How are you going to defend your territory? How are you going to defend your country, your family? That's the way it is. If, like what happened in Ukraine right now, they're not strong enough. That's why the Russians did anything they wanted, at least initially. Okay, so that's the reality of it, is that you need to, especially in us Mahayana practitioners, we have this, we carry responsibility of developing samadhi, and along with that, the wisdom to know how to, first of all, have the strength to beat up on the demons, okay, and not be scared by them, and the wisdom to counter the demonic moves. Okay, the demon is very dangerous. They sneak in everywhere. Sneak in, they lie together in certain races. Okay, I'm not going to mention races for you, but I've seen a demon evil in the world. Okay, they dominate certain races. And they sneak into politics. And you recognize the demons' work by their destructiveness. The nature of the demons, again, is to destroy the world, destroy goodness. And that's why the sutras is a very important part of our work, our studies. And that's why the monks and nuns of Sangha are supposed to be able to explain sutras. That's our jobs, to study sutras, so that we can help you and can help ourselves develop the Samadhi and the power to conquer demons. So far, so good. That's the first store. That's why it's most often explained by the Sangha. Most Sanghas, at least the good ones, should explain sutras. That's our jobs. It's no excuse for you not to explain sutras. That's your job. So the second store here that Master Ching Liang brought up is that the Avatamsaka Sutra also contains the teaching from the second store, the Vinaya store. Sometimes pronounced Vinaya or Vinaya. I used to pronounce Vinaya, so I don't care. Okay, and it's Vinaya Sanskrit. Sometimes it's abbreviated as Shila or Pratimoksha and so forth. He says, now in this particular prologue, the Master Ching Liang will start by discussing the name, what this name means, and afterwards he'll go into the characteristics of this teaching in the Vinaya store. Okay? And why it's there? Hopefully. Maybe he'll come to that. Okay. So let's continue. 163. Within the former, it is also called by an abbreviation for the Sanskrit word Vinaya, which translates as taming and subduing.
眼中一名毗尼，繁言之略耳，此番为调伏。
Okay, and you may have noticed by now, this prologue here, Master Ching Liang chose to take a very academic and very intellectual approach. So the language is very formal, the kinds of things you would find in the lecture halls and at the university classes and so forth. So it's very, very formal. So within the former, it means in the name discussion here, and also called by abbreviation because it's easier to remember for us. Okay, especially Chinese, not just the Chinese, but most of us prefer to have a shortened version to refer to these things. 165. That is taming and training the three karmas, regulating and subduing offenses and errors.
为调练三业，制服过非。
Okay, 166 commentary. So Vinaya, from Sanskrit, even though it's an abbreviation, it translates as taming and subduing, and also, so taming is subduing. Taming is Tiao, subduing is Lian, okay? Taming and the taming, subduing. So taming is to tame and train, tame the three karmas. What is the tame here? Taming is like you tame a wild horse, so that the horse will follow your commands. Will follow. So similarly, we need the Vinaya design to help us tame, so that we can follow the rules and regulations. So what are we taming? Taming here refers to our unruly mind, our wild horse mind. The Chinese have an expression, they like to refer to the mind, our mind, as a wild horse. Very difficult to control, to tame. And that's why part of our cultivation, we need to have some sorts of methods, some sorts of knowledge in order to tame our wild mind. Okay? So that mind then is willing to follow the rules and regulations. Furthermore, Vinaya also means to subdue. So subdue, why tame and subdue? What are we subduing? I think it'll be clearer a little bit later. You need to tame the mind and also subdue as well, the mind as well, so that you tame and train the three karmas, and so that we can avoid offenses and errors. Offenses, when we refer to offenses, it refer to a karmic, the Buddhist jargon, where you're creating karmic offenses by violating the precepts and the rules and the precepts. And the errors, yes, the rules is sometimes not just when you create offenses by not only by violating the precepts, okay, which are the Buddhist rules of morality, and also by not following rules. You can create offenses as well. For example, you go to a temple. Certain temples have certain rules, and when you violate those rules, you also are creating offenses as well. So pay attention. Okay? And errors, mistakes. So they're lighter than offenses, if you will. 167. Taming and training are common to stopping and doing. Regulating and subduing only means stopping evil.
老练通于止坐，制服为民止恶。
Okay, 168. Again, this is a concept of Vinaya, and you can see why eventually, why this part of the teaching in the Buddhist teachings is very important. It's important because when you talk about taming and training, Tiao Lian is common to stopping and doing. So to tame here, to stop the mind from violations. When you set the rules, you don't trespass someone's private property. You don't take things that don't belong to you. Those are the rules. After you stop people, living beings, from creating offenses. Okay, not just us, but also demons. When they're demons, they're free to do whatever they wish. When they come here to our temples, they want to come here to study and learn Buddhism, so that they too can put an end to their suffering. The demons, you have to realize, they are keen upon destroying us because they're suffering. You know that? The people who are doing evil is because they're suffering so much. And so everyone who comes to within our environment, they need to stop themselves by stop creating the karmas, the offenses. Okay, and also to train. And to train here is to do. Training is doing. Training is not knowing. Okay, what happened is that in this Dharma ending age, Buddhism is reduced to only knowing. It's not doing anymore, because no one knows what to do. It's because the teachers have no wisdom. The teachers have no samadhi power. That's why they don't know what to do. I keep on hearing, in particular, for example, I have a chance to get to meet with Hinayana practitioners as well as Mahayana practitioners, and clearly, when you ask them a question, they don't have enough wisdom to know how to solve the problem, what to do in order to resolve their issues, to what to do in order to develop samadhi, what to do in order to open the wisdom, what to do in order to go to the Pure Land, what to do in order to become enlightened, what to do in order to keep the demons in check. What's the point in knowing? Just concepts when you can't do, you can't really put it into practice. So you see the sutra that most people nowadays, they're so interested in learning and listening to the principles because it's very intellectually appealing, but their teachers stop short of telling them how to do it. Okay? And that's why Buddhism now is somehow more popular at the universities. People, even like monks and nuns, I chuckle at this. Monks and nuns go to universities in order to learn about Buddhism. It's total nonsense to me. If you take Buddhism and Buddhist concepts as a subject for studies, there's nothing wrong with it. Is it like you study science, you study biology, you study philosophy? Those are great. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. It's that the pursuit of knowledge is good for you, good for us. However, Buddhism is a lot more than just knowledge. Buddhism is about knowing what to do in order to understand the knowledge, to penetrate the knowledge. That knowledge is actually not knowledge, you know? What is that knowledge we're teaching you? Actually, it's wisdom. It's not knowledge. The people who don't have wisdom, they look at it as only knowledge. Actually, all the sutras is an insight, a glimpse, a Dharma glimpse, if I may use the word, of the Buddha's wisdom. So once you see the Buddha's wisdom, you see these beautiful insights he has, wouldn't you want to have those yourself? Instead of just repeating it, repeating what he said? You, when he taught those principles in the sutras, it's in order for you to be able to have it yourself, so that all he can do is give us the surface of the ocean. We need to cultivate, we need to know what to do in order to dive down to the depths of those principles. Okay? Diving down requires know-how, requires doing. Okay? And so, training, this is what Buddhist training is about. This is what the monks and nuns are supposed to do. We cannot blame you, lay people, because you are not skilled at training others. The training we do here, the training we provide for our Buddhist disciples must come from monks and nuns. That's our jobs. Explain sutras, meaning we need to understand the sutras, learn about the sutras first, and then develop the samadhi in order to penetrate the meaning, the words that we learned. Because the words are just the tip of the iceberg. It's not. There's so much more behind them that you can't possibly understand. No matter how long you study them, no matter how many billions of lifetimes you study them, you still cannot penetrate them unless you meditate. This is why for us, the Chanchi is the meditation training. The training here, okay? Training, meditation is to train you what to do in order to open your samadhi. This is fundamental Buddhist training that we must be grateful to Master YongHua, who brought to our country. In our Weiyang lineage, we must be always grateful to Master Weishan and Yangshan, who gave us the technology, the doctrines on how to train you. Okay? Training is that the trainer, who in my humble opinion must be a monk or nun, because I will not train you, a lay person, how to train others. I will train only monks and nuns how to train others. Why is that? Because if you, lay people, can train my monks and nuns better, then the monks and nuns are out of a job. And I'm destroying my own kinds. I would try not to do that. Okay? Yeah. So that's why, especially when I hear of monks and nuns who learn from lay people and take lay people as their teachers, I don't take those monks and nuns seriously. Yes, you can go and learn from professors and learn from a lay person. We all are learning from each other. It's just the way it is, okay? I'm learning from you, and you're learning from me, okay? But I know how to train you. You think you know how to train me with food and cars and temples and money? I understand that. Okay, I know you're trying to train me. Okay, tame me as well. Okay, but that's natural. You're supposed to try to train me. Okay, but the responsibility of training between us is me, not you. You can do whatever you want to do. That's perfectly acceptable. But as long as I wear this cloth here, I know my responsibility is to train you. And if I know how to do that, I want to pass it on to the next generation. Unlike my master, who did not. I'm not happy about it. I'm sorry. He's my idol. He's the most remarkable man I've ever met in my life. I'm so I feel so blessed to be able to meet such a person and say, wow, that's what I want to be like when I grow up. And it's such a long way to go that I have to paddle like crazy, like a duck on a pond. You look cool, but underneath, paddle away. Okay? And so I saw that kind of person in Master YongHua, and I'm very proud to tell you that. If you want to learn depth about Mahayana, go back to his teaching. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that you don't understand because the way he put it is too simple, okay? Because when you have true wisdom, okay, you can explain in very simple terms. If you don't have wisdom, that's why you have to regurgitate what the Buddha said and the Bodhisattva said. He put it in his own terms, his own language, his own words. That's why he is the first monk and the only Chinese monk I found who can explain the Dharma in words I can understand. He's the only monk I know, the only monk alive I know who can do that. I met many monks, all sorts of monks. Recently, many enlightened monks in Korea, none of them can do what Master YongHua can. None of them could explain. Well, anyway, none of them really understands yet. Master YongHua understands, and he can explain, okay? In such a beautiful, beautiful way for all of us to understand. However, his weakness, I hate to admit it, say it to you, in my opinion, is the training here. Training requires proactively doing something instead of sitting there and waiting that you're going to do the right thing. Training is like like those cowboys, they, why are you laughing? It's real, it's training. You're training the horses by how do you call that, move them as a group into the corral, That's training. And then, what do you call that? Corral them into, corral them.
Yeah, in the corral.
Corral them to a corral. There you go. Thank you. Why did I have to ask you if I knew it already? I was hoping you give me another word.
I'm always happy to validate for you, Master.
Thank you. Okay, so you corral the horses, okay, into the corral. I need a better English major.
You guide the horses into the corral. The horses are corralled.
I know the word guide, but I didn't use it because it's not as precise as corral. Okay, guide is like too gentle. Corral is like because the horse is stupid. You shoot in the air, or and you say, ho, 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 and you use lasso. Oh, excuse me, I got too excited.
Well, you just corral the horses. The cowboys are too lazy to say what you put them into. They're corralled.
The corral, yeah, or they use dogs. Anyway, you like Western movies too? I used to love Western movies. Like
Actually,
the good, the bad, and ugly. Dun, 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 dun.
Sergio Leone, you can't go wrong.
Oh yeah, those spaghetti westerns. You know spaghetti western? Before your time, girl. Yes, 8.
Mary Jo said, rounding up the horses.
Rounding up the horses. Thank you, Mary Jo. Thank you. I haven't watched any good Western movies recently. That's why the vocabulary is kind of rusty. Only James Bond movies, that's all, recently. Never mind, I get distracted. Where were we again? Okay, so, yes, sir, 6.
Thank you, Master. If I can make a comment, I wanted to give a shout out to the Chinese wild horse mind saying, because to me as an American who's watched Westerns, it immediately makes me think of a bunch of longhands, standing around a corral watching someone tame a wild pony. And to the point you were making, you can't learn how to tame a wild pony in a book. You got to go to the ranch. You got to get up on the fence. You got to get on the wild pony, and you got to get your hands dirty. You got to do it. You got to fall off. You got to pick yourself back up again. I think it's a really powerful metaphor the Chinese have.
Yeah, very good. Me too. Thank you for bringing it up. That's where I was going. And then you corral them, you round up the horses into the corral, and then you pick them out and train them individually. Just like Chan, we train you individually to meditate. Meditation is to do. Day in and day out. Like doing a Chan Chi. Is that clear? Okay, so that's stopping and doing. All right. And furthermore, regulating and subduing only means stopping evil. Okay, remember earlier I said, why do you need to subdue? Okay, subdue here, as I was alluding to, subdue your evil, the evil that's lurking inside of your mind. I know, he says, more evil? Yes, you. You are evil. Okay, we have evil inside of us, and if we don't know how to tame them, they will get out of control. Right? So this in the Chinese have an expression, 讲龙伏虎. Right? Something like that. Okay? Chinese people. Yes, in the back.
Master is also Vietnamese to Hàng Long Phục Hậu.
Yeah, it's like all those 小说, you have these, so you learn to control the dragons and tame the tigers, because according to the Chinese culture, dragons and tigers are very difficult to tame. Okay? This is just the PG version of the issue. The issue is not just the dragons and the tigers. Go ahead, go forest.
Emitofuo Master, subdue the evil inside, which means it is real. But I think in chant, we normally ignore those thoughts. It keep popping up. I see something, it keep popping up, and then we ignore it instead of subdue. Is more or less control it or push it down.
Yeah, to subdue is simply to ignore it is not enough. Okay, when you ignore it, it's like I have a neighbor here which causes a lot of afflictions for me personally. Yeah, and when we first moved in here years ago, every single weekend he would have a party and play mariachi music Friday night, Saturday night, until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Mariachi music. It's great music. I love mariachi music. I mean, I used to go to Mexico City and, it's so fascinating, so beautiful. And then you drink a margarita and daiquiri and so forth, and cerveza, and eat the bulby green onion. In there in Mexico, they have the green onion where they have the big bulb here, and you grill it, and then it actually makes that sound. And it's fantastic, But then to top it off, you have this band that goes, and the mariachi band. It's such a beautiful culture. Those were the days. Okay, it's so appealing, it's so cool, so entertaining. How do we get there again? And so it's all Janfang's fault. I don't know how he made a comment. I immediately digress into mariachi. Neighbors, yeah, thank you. The neighbor, oh my God. I mean, it's like every single weekend, we bought the temple like five years ago, and the first 3 years or so, it's like every single weekend. Friday night and Saturday night. Sunday night they stop early because they have to go to work on Monday. But he and his family and his friends and they're very connected with the police, So complaining doesn't help. So weekend after weekend, 52 times a year, Anyway, it is very difficult to control the evil side of me. I thought up, you would not imagine the kind of things that cross my mind. Like it has along the line of TNT, grenades. Also things like that. I admit to you, that's so evil to me, even to come up with such things. And lucky for me, I knew about the Vinaya, so I was able to subdue the evil side of me. So I speak from personal experience, It's real. That's when you appreciate this evil side that just wells up on you. And you cannot ignore it, my friend. They drive you crazy. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. I was actually hoping you might share some instruction on how you could have subdued the mariachi music.
subdue the Mariachi music. Haven't figured it out yet. And by the way, did we tell you that the image is kind of mirrored here? So you appear on the screen on the right, and she appears on the screen on the left. And they forgot. I brought it up last night, but these subdued people immediately forgot. Mariachi music, I love mariachi music. I don't care. Okay, I don't want to subdue that. Some things it's okay to subdue, some things are not, in my mind. Anna, control yourself. Okay, 169. Okay. If one follow the instructed conduct to illustrate its name, then it is store of taming and subduing.
又所权之行彰明，即调伏之藏。
Okay. So he says, if you cultivate this Dharma door here as instructed, and then the name, that's why it's named. The name tells you that if you want to tame your wild mind, if you want to subdue the evil inside of you, then you have to turn to the Vinaya. He could have said it like that, but no, he said, hey, you found the name, then it should do. It's so scholarly. Okay? Is that okay, Malcolm? If you want to tame and subdue, you want to learn techniques on how to tame and subdue, you have to go to Vinaya. Okay? Because it's clearly spells out how to do it, whereas in the sutra store we discussed earlier, it doesn't have the details of how to do that. Okay? 171. Or it may be the store what can instruct, since it possesses the ability to tame and subdue, which is to explain it by the wealth it holds.
或能全藏，有调伏之能，既有财是契经。
Yeah, I tell you, I feel very, very lucky. I had some time this evening, so I had to look at this to prepare for the lecture. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't know what he's talking about. He said, what are you talking about? It's just a lot of big words. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. We have a YouTube question from Daniel Wisniewski.
Yes, Daniel Wisniewski.
Is Vinaya a skill? Does it activate subconsciously through blessings and cultivation?
God, those are big words too. Vinaya is the Buddha's deep secret nowadays. I explain it to you in movie terms. How is that? Okay? It's Buddha's insights, and this is actually basically now it's a Buddhist secret, because very few monks and nuns understand it anymore, and lay people certainly are not privy to this kind of knowledge. The monks and nuns are supposed to study the Vinaya for 5 years. Once you become fully ordained, you're supposed to study Vinaya for 5 years. Traditionally in China, you can't meditate, you can't study sutras, you study Vinaya for 5 years. And then you can study sutras and then you can meditate. But it's not the case anymore. That goes to tell you that the monks and nuns nowadays lack the foundation. Okay, it's that important. And ingeniously, Master Hsuan ingenuity is that the genius of Master Hsuan is that he brought Buddhism here, tried to teach Vinaya, which is very dry and difficult to swallow, to the Americans, especially the flower girls. You know, they will run away from here as soon as you have your back turned. Okay, so that's why Master Hsuan did was to instruct them. This is the second one. Instruct them and teach them a subset of Vinaya so that they can have the ability to tame and subdue the wild mind and the evil inside of them, okay, so that they can build the proper foundation, which is the true wealth in Buddhism. The wealth there is a secret wealth because no one understands it. No one knows how to develop it. And without this, you cannot go very far. Okay? And so what Master Hsuan did, his genius is that he showed us that narrow lane, those 5-lane freeways, okay? If Vinaya is like many lanes, he only gave us 5 lanes where you can go. Right lane is the slowest. You know what I mean? Okay? And then next lane a little bit faster and faster. So you have this subset of Vinaya that he gave us. And he taught us how to do it in order to become enlightened. Versus the Hinayana, okay, where they learn all this dictionary of the Vinaya, and they don't know which lane to use in order to get there. Okay, that's Master Hsuan's genius. Okay? Hey, the only flaw in his approach, if I may say so, okay, is that this is pretty good. But he failed to help them build, prepare to reach higher, to ascend higher, to higher levels. That's his failure. That's why I saw his students, no. Because there's a genius there, and there's shortcomings there as well. Everything has plus and minuses, okay? All right, you had something you want to bring up, number 6?
Thank you, Master. YouTube question from Diego Alfonso. Emitofuo, Master, is Vinaya is Vinaya store only for monks and nuns, right?
No, for everyone. The store is for both monks and nuns as well as lay people. We have different approaches.
And his follow-up question is, when the mind is tamed and subdued, do thoughts stop arising?
Well, it will. Okay, so what's interesting here, the insight here, is that Vinaya will develop your wealth to increase your blessings. Wealth here, look at it as blessings. In other words, you study Vinaya and observe Vinaya, you're creating a lot of wealth for yourself. Isn't that interesting? Okay. That's what I said. Second one is that Vinaya will create a lot of wealth for you. Very important to understand. And this is why it's a mistake to ignore Vinaya. But I have a problem here because, first of all, we're short-handed. We have so many things to do. And then I wish I could send people to Taiwan or places like that to learn about Vinaya, even though what they are teaching are the marks, meaning the words only. They don't understand Vinaya, in the depth, at the deep level, but at least they have the marks. They have the description, so it's worth studying. But they don't have the depth, and that's a problem. So we have so many things to do. We have to go and tame the demons and push them back so that they restrain themselves. Okay, and that's very time-consuming. It takes a lot out of you to do that, and we don't have enough manpower to do that already. We don't have, and I feel disappointed that Master Shenhua didn't instruct his disciples to go deeper into the Vinaya store, because I don't think outside would have the manpower to do that. However, if in the future some of you wish to do the Vinaya studies at great depth, I would support you. So Vinaya is different kind of approach, different emphasis versus in a sutra store where we produce warriors. Chinese produce warriors, okay, ninjas and samurais and so forth. The Pancho Villa, something like, Pancho Villa. Okay. Zabata. Now it's coming back. So we need to produce those generals and guerrillas and the generals and the warriors, but it's also very important that we also need to produce Vinaya specialists as well, which the skill level can be a little bit lower, but they need to be enlightened. So, in the future, if you don't want to be a warrior, you have two options: become Vinaya specialist or become the supply line, logistics. Okay, well, you fix cars and that kind of thing, and cook and. So much work. I'm digressing, excuse me. Any questions or comments? You see, that's why I don't feel we have the manpower or the resources to do all of that. And I wish Master Shenhua should have thought of that, and he would have directed his disciples studying more the Vinaya, because they probably at their level, they can do a good job studying it, but they are not, which is a disappointment to me. Excuse me. You should know your limitations. That's all. All right, 173. Within the store of tallying texts, there is alike this explanation.
藏中类有此事。
Okay, 174. These they explain in the sutras. Okay, 175, similar thing. They also mention in the sutra store. Okay, the sutra store actually is dependent upon Vinaya store. They interconnected. If you understand, in order to ignore, you need to subdue and tame and so forth. They're actually intertwined, if you will. So you can't really separate them at all. If you're smart, you don't want to separate them. Vinaya may also translate as extinction.
亦拟或翻为灭。
Okay. Translate as extinction. Extinction, 灭 means Chinese, which means disappear, make disappear, put out fire, like a fire, make extinct, like kill, okay? Kill the pandas, kill the giraffes, kill the lions, mountain lions, okay? That's how you make them extinct, by killing them. Don't kill demons, okay? We don't want to make demons extinct, because if the demons are extinct, we cannot become Buddhas anymore. That's why we want them around. Okay, and you submerge, like you submerge and you drown them, huh? All this violence, huh, girls, huh? Don't you like it? Or you suppress them, like Confucius, suppress you, all you people. You are lucky. The Asians are suppressed by Confucius. So the Buddhas one day decided, we're so bored. So they sent a bodhisattva by the name of Shui Yue, okay, which later known to the Asians as Confucius, to go to Asia and suppress them, make them all constipated. Okay, so lots of suppression in Asian culture. Okay, that's how you submerge so that you can't see them. Okay, you suppress them and repress them. Okay. Okay. Any comments, disagreement from the Koreans? Koreans are very Confucian. They would not be caught dead without Confucius principles. Yes, huh? Ginny, you agree? You are very Confucian. I can look at you as Confucius girl. Yes, 7. We woke up the dragon.
So, sorry, this has nothing to do with the confusion. I had a question though. When an evil thought arises, is it because of our karmic obstruction or because of our confused minds?
Doesn't matter. We just have to deal with it. Okay? It doesn't matter why, where it came from. You need to be flexible enough to deal with it then. That's all. To understand where it came from, here, came from there, came from there, it came from my neighbors, makes no difference. Okay? See, that's what happens. The scholars, they want to know where it came from so that they can connect the dots. We can't care less. We just shoot to kill, that's all. You want to come? I shoot. I'm warning you. You come near me, you try to attack me, I will shoot you. You come too close, I will chop your heads off. Okay? We're violent. Okay? So that justifies why we can be violent. Because oops, sorry, I didn't recognize you. Didn't mean to kill you, but I thought I thought you were a tiger. Actually, you're a demon. Go forest.
Hi, Master. Just want to share like the history. Originally, I think Confucius was only one of the theories. And then later on, it was selected by the emperors to suppress people, I guess. So originally, it was only one of the like several famous people who have different theories.
Yes. What happened is, I'm making fun of Confucius. You are so Chinese. Anyway, the Chinese get upset about their Confucius. You touch the Confucius, you get very upset. Anyway, let me tell you, Anna, it's very difficult to please the Chinese. They think they have everything, we don't. And that's why we chop them down. And Koreans too. Anyway, what happened is Confucius is a theorist. Okay, he has a lot of great ideas. What I blame him for is that those ideas are okay, but he was too happy to use those ideas to serve his bosses, his sponsors, the state sponsors. And that to me is not a good thing to do. Okay? Confucius is by no way independent. He's serving his masters who provided him with sustenance and support. Okay? It's a different system. Our system here, we also have supporters and providers, but we're totally ungrateful. You know what I mean? And people are not happy about it. Tough luck. This is the problem with Confucius. Confucius was bought by his sponsors. That's what I fault him with. I don't, and that's why he then twisted his teachings to serve the needs of his dukes and his kings and sponsors. Okay. Because they needed his ideas to rule over their people. So that's why I don't like him, because for that reason. The principles are wonderful, are clean, but the way it's implemented was to serve his masters, his sponsors. Buddhism will be different. Yes, sir, another Chinese person. 5.
Is Lao Tzu also from the Confucius?
Lao Tzu is slightly different. Lao Tzu is a little bit purer than Confucius, because Lao Tzu basically says, I don't care if my disciples die. Confucius is attached to his disciples. What do you do when you have 50 devoted, children hanging around you every day and they go hungry? You know how hungry they got? Extremely hungry. They're so desperate that Confucius got hungry. He said, I tell you what, let's go and borrow some grains, from this rich man here. So they came up with schemes to go and borrow some grains so that they could eat and don't die of starvation. For us, if you die of starvation, I'm glad to watch you die of starvation. Because if I don't, people who give me grains will have control over me. You see my problem? Lao Tzu is cleaner in that sense, because Lao Tzu says, I don't care. So Lao Tzu also he draws more on the techniques on how to develop wisdom, samadhi, whereas Confucius all talk. Confucius never have any instructions for the Koreans or the Vietnamese or the Chinese. You should feel lucky in a way that you're not Asian like us. that you don't have, they talk, and they don't really understand what they're talking about. So because of that, they follow the crowd, the homogeneity. You need to get along. You get to be homogeneous and so forth. Yeah, that's the end result of that. Yes, 5.
Master was Confucius. He was like, do unto others as they do unto you, but...
No, that's God. That's Daniel's God.
But was he ever about like, this is how to end suffering? To teach how to end suffering instead of...
No, Confucius doesn't talk about suffering. He talks more about obedience and obey. So, which I find to be disgusting. Why do you have to obey? You disciples should obey, but I don't have to obey. Yes, 6. Daniel has to obey.
Thank you, Master. I'm kind of excited because this is the first time I've seen words like fire, kill, dragon, on the same slide, nonetheless. Just rattling them off, man. This is rad. And my question is, ever since I came to Lu Mountain Temple way back in the day and knew nothing, the small amount I've learned, I'm still always impressed by the fierceness of the Dharma protector statues. I mean, these dudes do not mess around.
They don't. You better believe it. They smash you to smithereens. If you mess around, don't blame me for not warning you.
So my question is, are
They're
they practicing?
fierce.
Are they practicing Vinaya? Is that what they're doing?
No, we don't want them to practice Vinaya. They should kill, so that I don't have to. No, there's the tip for you is that the demons, they need to know that we're prepared to kill because they are fearless. Okay, demons, the evil in you. When I talk about demons, I'm also referring to the evil in you, young princess. Okay, the evil in your heart, in your mind, must be subdued through fear. Yeah, you're afraid I'm gonna hit you. Because I did already. You want me to demonstrate? No! See, she's not afraid of me. I used to hit people in front of everyone. And loudly. Okay? And you don't want me to hit you like that. I'm known to break things with my hand. So the teacher, one of the things that the teacher must be able to do to instill fear in you. You want to teach people because that evil side of you, okay, I'm giving you insights because you forced me into these kind of obnoxious details, in order to teach, look now Wu Yin is woke up. Her teacher never taught her that. In order to teach you, there is a subdued side where you must be subdued. The evil inside of you must be subdued. And the only way to subdue you is a fear that I would kill you. I would cause great harm to you. I'm able to cause great harm to you. I'm willing to kill you sometimes. Not always. Sometimes I make a mistake. Okay? And that's that's what you need in order to subdue the evil inside of you. You can talk. You can know, can we talk about this? Did it ever work, Peter?
When you ask me if we can talk about this?
No, when you say, can we talk about this? No.
Oh, yeah, no, I just try and be quiet now.
See, you've been tamed. Got that? So that's why you need to have really the ability to and the strength to kill. And the same thing, the teacher cannot teach you unless they instill fear in you. Maybe respect sometimes. If you're a good person, is respect. But if you're evil, you need to be afraid. That's what it takes. You can't talk about it. Okay? Yes, 4.
So, Master, then as a disciple, being taught by a teacher that is instilling fear because a part of our ego might have to just be subdued. And then we take it from there, the learning comes up.
Well, it's a lot more than simply 1 or 2 sentences. It's like a love and hate relationship, if you will. You love him so much, and you hate him as well. What keeps a marriage together? There's no such a thing, honey, that you can love someone only. You have to hate him as well. That's a marriage, okay? Don't believe what your mother says. I love, find someone you love forever. No. It can be love and hate. Same thing. You like the teacher, you like the teaching, you like the practice. Also, the other side, you're afraid as well. There's the need to have that in order for you to make it. It's the same thing. When you practice Chan, you do the Chan, there is a pleasant side of it and also an unpleasant side of it. And that's why it's called Mahayana. The Hinayana is only the good side. They cannot handle the evil side. That's where we come in. We handle the evil side. Them people who would say, I don't, you're so evil, because they can't handle it. But then over here, oh, you're so evil, I love it. Let's have a drink together. Oh, you like too much, like this too much. Sorry, how old is she now? She looked like a young lady. She should know the truth. 12 already? Wow, my Maya princess is 12 now. Oh. Three. She got him when he was 3. 9 years. Our relationship goes back 9 years ago. Yes, 5. Sorry.
Master, 3 years for me now.
3 years for you. All right. Yeah. Is it a love or a hate relationship?
It's like what you said. It's love-hate relationship.
Okay. Which part of hate is it? Which part is hate?
What, with Chan or what? With Chan, Chan is love hate for me.
Okay, Chan, love hate for you. Oh, yeah.
Then I had a question.
Exactly, that's Chan.
When you get better and improve with Chan, are you killing the evil little by little in you and the anger and stuff like that?
Yeah, you do. But then you leave some so that you can subdue the evil. Because it takes an evil to control the evil. Does it make sense? Because you're good. Then you go to the demon. Demon says, you're good, right? I have nothing to fear from you. But that's why you have to have the evil so that the evil is afraid of you. Does it make sense?
It's going to take me a while to grasp that.
Don't worry. You get there. Don't worry. It's not a concept. It's just that the reason that I'm disappointed that the Hinayana and the Chinese Mahayana it gives you this ideal thing where an arhat is pure, is perfect. Bodhisattva is like someone unreachable. Heck no. Okay, if that's the case, you cannot tame and subdue. It doesn't work like that. But they don't explain it like this in the Vinaya and in the Chinese and thing because they chose not to. But in our era, is so much evil that we need to be frank and not mislead people. Yes, Ford. Now everyone interested. They said it's the first time a monk says, "Oh, I'm evil." You better believe it. My Shishima has some. He's so evil. You know why? He is the meanest person I met. No one ever hurt me the way he did. And I will never forget or forgive. Yes, Ford.
I just remember that back on those days, it was very intense to be on your...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't make a mistake.
Kind of, it was more like, I'm gonna say names here.
Okay.
Listening to Daniel speak or to say something to you with that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that other people would try to do that on those days, and you would be very blunt and bold. And
Know your place. You can't talk to me like that.
I remember those days, Master. And then I also remember that sometimes it was just probably 5 or 4 of us on the Dharma.
So that many? Seriously? 5 of you?
On Saturdays.
On Saturdays? On the weekend, you have 5 people, hooray!
And I remember that it could be a little bit, it was kind of scary sometimes because you would have to attack probably our ego so badly. And
No.
the reason I stayed with you.
You remember wrong.
So this is the reason I stayed, because I understood that was the way that I probably need to be approached. And even it was a little bit scary for me to...
See? What did I tell you? You need to scare them. The evil inside of her.
That's what I wanted to say.
Those were the days, huh? Honey, I wish I could go back to those days. Life was so much simpler. Just us, 2 or 3 of us, yeah, like family. Now it's like, the Koreans are here, we need to be more evil with them, that kind of thing. And the Chinese, I mean, they used to be so simple, so much simpler. Gan you say, say, okay, whatever you want, master. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we stop here tonight because we need to not overdo it. Okay. Next time, we continue from 177. Thank you, everyone.